So this whole Jermaine Dupri situation happened a while back, and I never really got around to it. And it seemed like the main reaction was just people trying to find ways to prove Jermaine Dupri's comments wrong. In essence, trying to name women that don't fit the persona that Jermaine Dupri laid about these women, which I think he worded very poorly, by the way.
Strippers rapping.
But I also feel like this is a very good learning situation when it comes to subject matter in rap, especially today. But if you're not aware yet, here's what he said.
To you?
I can't really say.
Not a Cardi B fan?
I have no, but the reason why I can't say is because I feel like they're all rapping about the same thing, and I don't feel like I don't think they're showing us who's the best rapper. I think they're trying to show, for me, it's like strippers rapping, and I don't. As far as rap goes, I'm not getting who is the best rapper.
Now, from a YouTuber standpoint, I can very easily just react to this and just name off every single female MC, which there are plenty of, that don't fit into this whole they're just strippers rapping character that Jermaine Dupri is labeling pretty much every female MC as. But we all know the type of music that Jermaine Dupri is involved in. He's into the R&B and rap that is obviously in the mainstream. He's worried about making hits, so obviously Jermaine Dupri isn't speaking about the No Names and the Rhapsodies and the Little Sims and all those female MCs that don't at all fit into this whole persona. So let's try to focus on them. He's obviously talking about the Nicki Minaj's, the Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, all those types. And to me, a fair criticism for these type of MCs could be that their subject matter isn't diverse enough. But I don't think the fact that all of these MCs rap about the same thing is necessarily a bad thing for them, or it doesn't mean that you can't be a great MC. The first thing I thought of when I heard about the situation was Benny the Butcher. And the reason for that is because if you listen to Benny the Butcher, someone could step away from his music and say, oh, he's just rapping about drugs the whole time. He's just talking about drug dealing. And yeah, you could sum up his entire subject matter as just dealing drugs. But it really seems that if you dig deeper into his lyrics and into what he's actually saying, it's much more than just drug dealing. And if you feel like it's just drug dealing, you're probably not listening too hard enough. And the reason for that is because to me, the whole drug dealer persona that Benny has throughout his music is his point of view, but it doesn't necessarily describe all of his subject matter. For example, in the song Scarface vs. Sosa Part 2, in this song, Benny says everything relates back to drug dealing. And I feel like this is one of his most important songs because it really thoroughly describes the man's music. You can't step away from it saying, oh, it's just about drug dealing. But drug dealing is his point of view. And through his point of view about drug dealing, he talks about having to deal with laws, his loved ones, his past relationship, how he's grown, how he raises his kids. So yeah, drug dealing is involved in pretty much every song, but that's his point of view. And through his point of view, he's sharing all of these different types of subjects and themes and topics through the point of view of a drug dealer. Because guess what? Everything relates back to drug dealing. Now, if we go back to the female MCs we were talking about, I don't necessarily think that their fans are looking for subject matter, necessarily. I think what primarily Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion fans and Nicki Minaj fans are looking for are flow and delivery, the things that probably capture you the most. And I will say that, even if they get shitted on a lot, I think that all three of them have pretty decent deliveries, especially Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. I think their deliveries are pretty fucking good, and I think that's what grabs people so much, and when they have so many fans. But of course, people will also look for subject matter. And compared to Benny, I don't necessarily think that many female MCs are capturing the same thing that Benny is here. They obviously have a much more different perspective about their own lives and about their own careers, the same way Benny has when it comes to drug dealing. I just don't necessarily think that through the mainstream rapper's point of view is being executed as well as Benny here. But again, I don't necessarily think that they have to. And you don't have to have an insane wide variety of subject matter to be a great MC. When you look at Wu-Tang, a lot of what they said, and I've said this before, a lot of what they said was just placed together randomly in order to make flows and delivery sound very good. I'm not necessarily saying that these MCs are doing that, but it just shows that subject matter doesn't have to be this very profound, important thing in order to be a great MC. Now, I don't necessarily think that many of the female MCs in the mainstream that we have rap as well as Benny the Butcher does. And I think a big reason for that might be that they don't really communicate as diverse subject matter through their own point of view as well as Benny does. And as much as I might shit on subject matter for at times not being so important, it really can be the defining factor from a good MC to a great MC. I feel like if Cardi and Megan and all these female MCs in the mainstream want to get to that level rapping wise as much as someone like Benny the Butcher, they might have to dig deeper within their own point of view to show off more diverse subject matter and to do it on a much more deeper level. So again, I think Jermaine Dupri might not be fully engaged into the rap game because, again, his comments can easily be disproven by me just yelling out female MCs that obviously don't fit this stigma, which there are plenty of. But nowadays in the rap game, you kind of have to separate between the underground and mainstream so much because at times the underground is just so alienated by someone like Jermaine Dupri. So you have to stay fixated on a certain area, this time obviously being the mainstream. And even then, his comments are still very poorly executed, in my opinion.
Strippers rapping.
But in essence, the diversity of subject matter might be something that could be held against someone like Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion or Nicki Minaj or any other really up there female MC in the mainstream. And even though someone like Benny the Butcher, who raps about a lot of the shit in hindsight, can be dig deeper within his lyrics to find more profound subject matter through his point of view, being that of a drug dealer. And Benny's been able to execute this very well, and if these female MCs can do the same and sort of provide the same point of view over and over again, but through diverse subject matter the way Benny the Butcher does, I think these female MCs in the mainstream can really go to that next level when it comes to rapping and gaining that respect. But that's all I gotta say. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll be with y'all very soon. Please share, and yeah, peace.